Welcome to the garden this beautiful summer evening in July 17th to be precise. I had the most wonderful 3-day weekend of swimming, good food with friends, lots of gardening that I did, and I'm just feeling good. I'm feeling like myself again. And come along with me and see the abundance that is growing here. This is coming from the front door. You can see a couple of things on my porch, some impatiens, swimming towel, going into some more impatiens, this wonderful display of sweet potato and coxcomb, some petunias. We got this little garden bed on the side here. And then if you turn, we go right into the vegetable bed, a little bit over to the side here. And you can see these wonderful prune San Marinos tomatoes with some tomatoes starting. Look at that nice little 6-pack of beautiful tomatoes. Going over to this potato, and there's some dill, and I have some cilantro going to seed for coriander. We got some chamomile there, and we're going into another bed of some Roma tomatoes that are just starting as well. We have some paste tomatoes over here in the distance that are starting, just wonderful. My back display here, there's some roses that are doing well. These black hollyhocks, which are just my favorite. Going into the aubergine, or as we commonly know as eggplants. And I just grow these because look at these leaves. This is my hand. I have pretty big hands. They're like 2 sizes of my hand. Some candy striped zinnias in there. Into the pepper bed, which they're doing pretty good. I grow organically, so you'll see a lot of holes and things, but we got a pepper right there. He's coming along. And then we go into my back display, which is kind of like the giving back to nature display. We got nasturtiums of a varied amount of color. And then we have our sunflowers, which are just reaching to the sky, which they tend to do for me. These flowers here are my new favorite, calendula. And then just enjoy the colors that you see of nasturtium as we walk through here. I just take a rainbow, like a different seed mix, and put that all together. More calendula. Look at those. Going into onions that are ready to harvest. You know, when you see these stems kind of flop over, that we're right there. We have some pretty decent sized bulbs I'm very happy with. My carrots are kind of a little lackluster. Over here is my green bed, Swiss chard, some kale. I have some Armenian cucumbers growing right here. Those are cucumbers that will get a serpentine snake-like feel. And as we go over here, you can see my new thing where I keep tools for the garden. And I love this grow for me. I did this design myself. Just had fun with some spray paint, basically. And I keep all my common tools that I need right in this mailbox. And this was the mailbox I had until I replaced it. Always a bucket for weeds. We continue on the other side of the door. There's some heucheras here you can see that bed needs a little work. Asparagus patch, some beautiful sunflowers, multi-head sunflowers. I think those came from bird seed, to tell the truth. And this is the gate that goes to what I would call eventually the secret garden, because down here, this lane of riverstone, there's hollies, and eventually that will form a hedge. You got what I call this little Japanese garden over here. If you turn to your right when you come off the path here, you can see my fun little fantasy garden, and a lot of bee balm, some echinacea in the distance. This beautiful variegated daisy. There's some hydrangeas that'll take over. And the sign that I got from a friend that I just love, it inspires me. It says, you can't see it too well, always keep your beautiful imagination and exquisite sense of humor. And why not? Every garden needs a couple pounds of amethyst. Going down, this is a elderberry. It has beautiful pink flowers. They're out of bloom right now. These hostas are taking off. Part of the garden is good compost piles. That's raring up. This blue stuff is sage. This is my fun little anything goes garden area. And we have a few native things. We have butterfly weed, rattlesnake master, coreopsis out of bloom. These asters will just be glorious once they take off. And ironweed into some pink valerian, which is great for sleep. We go down the lane here. We keep just going on with this tour. We can see the delphiniums, which are these bluish ones, are starting to fade out. We got some phlox that are coming through. Love that. These are maximilians, which will be beautiful yellow flowers in the fall, about a month. And then into these coleuses that I'm just in love with. And if you've seen on social media, I'm talking about a lot of social, emotional support plants. And that was one day where, and this is the Jurassic Park area. Yada da da da, yada da. And then we go on here, and you can see the back of the garden area here. And kind of, I do live on a busy street. And this is my random kind of like anything goes herb area that I'll just be adding some extra things. And we gone through, and we can kind of see the scape of the front of the house. And right now we're in hollyhocks and lily time. So I call this Lily Lane. And just absorb these colors. Like, look at these colors. That red, so vibrant. That orange, so robust. That yellow, so joyous. And then these pink, just kind of, you can see those wonderful sunflowers in the distance. Some more red, a corabelle, adding some juxtapoles of color of purple, more red, and then some tiger lilies. So tiger lilies go down, they come off the stem like this, and Asiatic lilies are these, they go straight up. So you've seen I have a lot of Asiatic lilies in this gardenscape. Just look at that. As the sun's setting, it just captures this. So Echinacea that I started from seed, white, and then these pink, just absorb that for a minute. And then every permaculturist needs a lane of comfrey, which is a wonderful attractor to lots of bees, lots of pollinators, whatnot. And it makes a wonderful compost when you put the leaves in water, and you can, not compost, but fertilizer. And we have some black swan poppies that will eventually take over, and this wall of castor beans actually. And then we'll just go on over, continue this tour just on our feet here. We got what I call lavender lane and some hydrangeas in between. I'm going down lavender lane. You can kind of see the scape of everything. And then I just love this. In the middle of this area here is an elderberry. And then on each side are some Spartan junipers that I'll eventually use as topiaries to kind of sculpt them into twists. Some kind of fun formation. And then down here is some watermelons that I'm hoping will take off. Watermelons, you only have like a month and a half to figure out what you're gonna do. And then if you look down this lane, this is fruit trees. We have lots of peaches this year on this far tree here. And I'm excited about that. And we go across here to what I call my pollinator garden. Glove thistle. If it was more during the day, you would see lots of pollinators on it. Love always wins, my friends. Veronica. Always look up Veronica. It's just a beautiful, these candlestick looking things. There's a lot of natural native plants that are really small. I can't point out too well right now as we go through this area. But eventually this will be herbaceous growth of things that will just feed birds. As you can see, the bird feeders. And these are cup flowers, a cup plant. I just love them. They'll get some yellow flowers on them. So the garden's been doing good in this drought. Over here, you can kind of see this side garden. Pretty much the Shasta daisies and the marrow root or marrow plant is predominant. Over here, just herbaceous growth of hostas you can see. In the way distance there, you'll see some yarrow. This back garden has become kind of a jungle. As you can see, it's really beautiful in spring. But we have yarrow that took over, which I love. Some more Maximilians that will be beautiful. There's an astilbes in the middle there that aren't really doing much. And this one I love, blanket flower. I found that on the side of the road, so I added a bunch to the property. And things are, some have obedient plants will come up, but look at this. The rain knocked it down a little bit, but this kind of snowball hydrangea, just love it. And then, oh my God, that's beautiful. So these are some phlox I added, and look at that beautiful purple. So I'll add some, and then I put some globe thistle, and hopefully this maiden mantle down here, these kind of star-shaped leaves will take over. And then of course sedum, which is always a good thing. So this is a transition garden. And then look at that sunset and the river below as I go up the stairs to the deck. And this year I tried a lot of different things on the deck here to add basically a kitchen garden. So we have some tomatoes that are starting, determinants, but they're pretty big plants. This plant that is my love right now is the sweet potato. There's 4 plants in there. Eventually it'll flower, and hopefully for August we'll see that. Again, more tomatoes. We got some dill going on here. We got some sage, some chamomile, thyme on the bottom, St. John's wort about to bloom, lemon verbetum, and some basil that I had to trim back, but will come back. This dill, just love it. Again, more tomatoes. And this wonderful green envy zinnia. Over here to some Asema and Tyler's people, or tobacco as we would call it. This topiary of rosemary is taking off, and some parsley going to seed. Over here, more tomatoes, and this pepper plant. This is right here I'm going to end with, is perseverance as a gardener. I was messing up my seeds with too much moisture, and I didn't think I'd have peppers. And look at this pepper plant in a pot, in a pretty big pot, just full of flowers. And just the hugest thing I've seen, popcorn plant, and this jade that actually my dad grew, and I kind of kept it. And my dad always grows wonderful plants that just take off. And we'll kind of end you here with, you can see the back overlooking the deck. You can even see the Jurassic Park area on the back, and the compost pile, and just above, and this beautiful sunset. So if you want to grow a garden, perseverance, learning that things may die on you, that things may not be as successful, but keep on keeping on, keep on doing it, keep on doing the work, and eventually you will have fruits of your labor. Much love. May your garden grow.